How we doing, folks? John here. Good morning. Hopefully I'm 5x5. Can y'all let me know before we get started? I tried to set everything up right. I even double checked it here. Let me move this up a second. All righty. A little better. How's everybody doing? Thank y'all for the 5x5s. How's everybody doing this morning? Was going to try and go live yesterday. Ended up going to the doctor. Very small sinus infection, but mostly allergies. So they hooked me up with some Zyrtec, which I think you can buy over the counter, but my insurance paid for that and some spray for my nose. So it's all good. They didn't even consider testing me for C19. So I think we're through this thing. I appreciate y'all. Somebody's catching us live for the first time here. Oh, where you at? Where you at? Corey Lynn, thanks for being here. Thanks everybody for being here. Thank you for helping to fight censorship with the thumbs up and the subscribes. And that's really what it does. They suppress this channel. I don't know why they pick on our channel. This isn't the only channel they do it to, but they really do rail on this channel. So I appreciate all that stuff. And hey, if you like censorship, to each their own. Just don't throw thumbs up, subscribe, or anything. If this is your first time, keep it all inside the ride, son. Arms, legs, nether regions, keep them all inside. Who's in the house this morning before we get started? I just saw Amelia. Big T, it is slowed down to a minute. Can you believe it? It's slowed down. Slow chat's on, I think. Cold Lifestyle Prepper, good morning. Tammy, thank you very much for that. Julie Atkins. Karen's Garden, Mark Neely's in the house. Michelle James. Oh, Roll Tide Roll. Bama Jen must be in the house. Homestead, Homeboy, North Carolina. Good morning, man. How are you doing? Thank you very much for that. And also, American Trucker's wife, I think she's on the road, but she had posted something earlier saying she was checking in. So be safe out there. What's up, Jonathan Hicks? How you doing, brother? Randy, thank you. It is on somewhere in West Texas. Good morning. How are you doing? So, all right. They refuse to prepare, and they're looking at you as their meal ticket. That's the video, I guess, headline this morning. And really, it's based off of some comments. When I got home from the doctor yesterday, I went through and I watched the replay on the chat. Boy, chat was flying. I forgot to turn slow chat on yesterday. Right, Katie Mackey? She said nobody puts Katie Mackey in the chat corner. But a lot of people were saying, look, you're not going to feed non-preppers. Some people were saying you've warned them enough. It's it. You're not on the hook to warn them anymore. And so I wanted to kind of present this question this morning. How much are we on the hook for as preppers, even if it's our own family? I'm not talking immediate family. Of course, we're going to take care of our immediate family. They live with us. I'm talking extended family, cousins, uncles, aunts, this sort of thing, in-laws. How much are we on the hook for as preppers if we continue to warn them? Good morning, Leah and Jennifer Cruz and KWG Podcast. How much are we on the hook for? Because this brings up a pretty unique problem. Somebody says not on the hook at all. This brings up a unique problem, and I understand where y'all are coming from. A lot of people are saying, nope, not on the hook at all. But haven't we already outed ourselves to them as preppers? If we've encouraged them time and again to prepare, don't they know we're preppers? Isn't, this going to be the first place? Not here at the Ponderosa. Some people will come here, but your own Ponderosa. Aren't they going to show up at your door? because they know you have the things that they just wouldn't listen to you for whatever reason. Maybe they were busy watching Golden Girls. Maybe they just don't have the money or don't want to spend the money. Or they people are hard headed for different reasons. But Amelia says she has a box of ramen for them. But yeah, but seriously, aren't they going to show up at your front door because they know you're a prepper? So if the food runs out, had an email last night. Somebody said, "What do I do when the food starts to completely run out?" And not to get too sidetracked, I said, "Go to the smaller stores when that happens." Because zombies, non-preppers, they're going to stick to what they know at first. They're going to bombard the bigger stores, your Walmarts, your Krogers, your Costco's, things like this. I said, hit the low key stuff, make that one last run and get home and kind of bunker down. But when this is happening, part of them hitting what they know is the fact that they know we're preppers. Doesn't this present a huge issue? Um, are you prepared for people to show up at your front door? Outdoors with James, thank you very much for that. Are you prepared for that? I think I used the clip of thumbnail art of somebody trying to pry your door open. I don't know that all families going to try and do this, but look, there's some crazy family members out there that will try and kick doors down and break in if they have to. They're not going to starve and they're not going to know what else to do. The stores are out of food. They're out of food. They don't know anybody else that has food. I promise they're coming to your front door or to your back door or whatever the case may be. Are you ready to feed them? Are you ready to kind of tell them to hit the bricks? Are you prepared to do that? Are you strong enough to stand up and say, I'm not feeding you? And then also the thing I worry about, loose lips sink ships, right? So if they know you're a prepper in a time of full-blown Mad Max, who else are they going to tell that you might have food? They might meet somebody 30 minutes ago at the local Walmart that has no food, and they might say, follow tie time. Thank you. Sorry. And they might say, just follow me. My cousin, he's a prepper. He'll hook us up, or she. So doesn't this present a problem? Now, I know Red Tyrant Hunter's probably out there right now loading a 45 saying, nah, it ain't no problem for me. But the average prepper's okay. What are you going to do? How are you going to do this? If your plan, especially if your plan's to bunker in, you're not going anywhere. So you're not going to be very hard to find. And I promise you they're coming. So what is the plan? CR says she is a low-key prepper. Laura says, even if I have a lot, when SHTF happens, it'll be ration time for me and mine. That's a very smart way of thinking about it. Even if you have tons, pitfalls work well. Even if you have tons, you've stacked it to the rafters 20 times over. It's very smart to go ahead and start rationing, especially water, as soon as it hits and you have to bunker in. Mama Bear, that's another way of looking at it. Make them work for it. You're going to need extra hands during SHTF, especially if you have land and you need to secure things. How you doing, Selling Prepper? Good morning. So that's one way to do it. Prepare a few buckets ahead of time, maybe, or as somebody was saying, stack extra ramen noodles. The munchie prepper. John, make sure everyone knows to get munchies. They will actually, the munchies will be the first thing that go. Unfortunately, when it's panic shopping time for the non-preppers, they go for all of that stuff. Good morning, Amber Z. How are you doing? And Paul Jones. Yeah, absolutely. Start rationing. Yep. Rock, thank you. I appreciate you bringing this up. You usually do this most mornings. People like censorship. They don't want us to be found, so they don't shoot the thumbs up. Muzzle flash. I think you will find that a lot of them won't be asking. Yeah, that's a fair enough point. Some family members are going to show up and they're going to assume that either you're going to feed them or that they're going to take what you have. So just be prepared for that. It's not something you should be panicking out of your mind about, not something to scare you to death. Just understand that that's coming. For every family member that knows you're a prepper, that will not listen, unfortunately, that person is going to be a threat. if the food runs out. And it's looking like the food might be running out sooner rather than later based on the intel you folks have been sending. Speaking of, tons of emails have been coming in. There have been a few here in North Carolina, but all over really. You folks have been sending in emails, and it's a badly broken supply line. It's actually much worse than what I'm seeing here, by some of the photos and the intel you folks have sent over. Somebody asked a really good question yesterday, though. In the replay, I noticed they said, "Why is it always the food and the fuel that's disappearing?" They found that it's odd that other stuff isn't disappearing as fast. And I have a theory. I don't know if this is the case, but my theory is supply and demand. So you have your folks that are into automobiles, for example, your folks that are into canning, your folks that are into all kinds of different things. And this is the stuff that they buy. But at the end of the day, to answer that question, everybody has to eat, and most of us need gasoline. And so these two things draw everybody in, and everybody's hammering these two things particularly all at once. And so we're noticing the gas seems to be ticking up a little bit here in the area. And also the food. I mean, everybody's got to eat. So people are diving on food. That supply line, what's left of it, is just getting hammered nonstop. Um, so it seems to be that it's disappearing a lot quicker. It is, Paula. Paula says it's all about controlling the masses. They've got their blueprint online, their agenda, it's online. They don't hide it. I don't have this written down or anything, but keep an eye as all of this news floods the mainstream media as it pertains to Ukraine. I'm not saying Ukraine's not important and the whole Russia deal is not important, but keep an eye on the World Economic Forum. They probably just flagged me for saying it, but I'm going to say it again. The World Economic Forum. Keep an eye on those folks. A lot of shady things are being talked about and even signed, quote unquote, into law. I don't view it as a lawful organization to start with, but they're signing a lot of things that are going to affect our future, and they know what they're doing. Yellow Rose of Texas. I've told my children when it hits the fan, pack food and water and clothes and come to me. And as a parent, my kids are already here, but if they were grown up, even if my kids wouldn't listen, I would tell them to do the same thing. So I think that is good advice. Now, you can't afford to feed everybody, though, and take care of everybody. At least most preppers can't. So you have to start picking and choosing at some point, and extended family might be in trouble, when it comes to me anyway. Yes, they are pure evil, and they don't govern me. And they have their little president and their hierarchy set up, but it's an illegal deal. Like, it has no legal authority whatsoever. So yeah, same thing. Mark O'Brien, John, any advice on starting over on prepping? Lost a lot of my gear and preps. Oh man, I hate to hear that. In an arson house fire 2 weeks ago. Um, the main focus would be on food and water. Um, I know that you said you lost a lot of gear, but food and water would be the first thing, and I would do it as cheaply as possible, especially if you lost other stuff in a house fire. I really hate to hear that. And the gear, um, I mean, that's a huge negative thing. I'm not downplaying it, but it gives you an opportunity maybe to start over and see if you can do it cheaper. I guarantee you on the gear you can get by with a lot cheaper stuff. That's one mistake going back in that I made. I was buying gear I really didn't need that was very expensive because I saw it in magazines and I saw it in other channels here on YouTube. And I thought, well, I really need this because they say I really need this. And then it just sat here and it never got used. But yeah, food and water would be, the priorities. Yeah, sorry to hear it, Sergeant Rudy says. Uh yeah. Joshua, stack gold and silver, the dollar is kaput. We're gonna be talking about crypto here shortly. I know we have some crypto fans and some folks not so much crypto fans. Amber, good morning again. What are your thoughts on Antifa and BLM starting back up again with the newest ordeal? So, couple of things. These people seem to only come out when the weather's nice, and the weather's getting nice. I don't know what they have against cold weather and snow and stuff. They seem to want to act a fool when it's warm outside, number 1. And number 2, anytime they're not getting their way when it comes to anything, they don't know what else to do. They stand on cars, they twerk, they block roads. Y'all know what they do, set stuff on fire. Midterm elections. I think it's gonna ramp up and around midterm elections. I really do think they're not gonna get their way. Now this thing could be blue vans in November coming in and thieving the election. But otherwise, I think you're gonna see a red tsunami. The writing's on the wall. When that happens, they act out because they don't know how else to deal with it. They're like children. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna ramp up. It's gonna be more violent. It's gonna mostly be in the urban areas. So head on a swivel. American trucker, not even my own mother, brother, and sister know where I live. They shady. Nobody is coming knocking on my door. Wow. Randy, that's good advice. And I tell you something else you can use. And I picked this up from another channel. Oh man, it's been a year plus ago. The Pure Leaf tea things, the tea bottles. You can wash those out really good and you can dry 'em, make sure they're dry before you store anything in them. But I think 12 of those fit perfectly into one of the plastic milk crates. And so it's a way for you to stack stuff like that, and kinda put it in a corner somewhere without having to Mylar and stuff like that. Dan, I also lost everything in a house fire. My problem is storage. Where can I start a new stack? Dan, to be honest, it depends on the layout and what kind of storage you're talking about. Some people do storage units. I'm not a huge fan of storage units. It can be done. Um, but the problem that you're gonna run into is if you have stuff that's vital for survival in the storage unit and you can't get there, then that stuff's lost to you. So really, I mean, if you're extremely limited on storage, that's where I would start getting into rain catchment, maybe a water bob, and then, uh, I hadn't really been pushing survival food and stuff like that, but it does take up a lot less room than tons of canned food and stuff. So you may think about that as well. And then, the 5-gallon buckets in the Mylar with the rice and beans and stuff. Um, Pack as much as you possibly can in a cramped space. I've heard of that. We don't do that, Sassy Gal, but I've heard of that. We use reuse Gatorade drink bottles. 1 pound of beans fits in there perfectly. Yeah, the same thing with the Pure Leaf bottles that I was talking about, but the way they're kinda square on the bottom, so they fit in really well in a milk crate. But yeah, I've heard of people using the Gatorade because of the thick plastic. Good morning, McBean. How are you doing, brother? So, this intel is linked down below, which just means it's in the video description for you newbies in case you wanna click it and check it out. Republican governors have now deployed what they're calling a strike force to secure the border. They say they are targeting criminals, cartels, they're focused on smuggling. To be honest, they're probably also focused on illegals, but they really don't want to catch a lot of heat, so they're saying, "Hey, we're doing this because of the criminal element." Why is this important though? We've been talking, it's been a week or so, but we've talked about somebody stepping up, finally having the stones to say, this country's not working anymore. We need to go our separate ways. And I've said it's got to be somebody that has influence, that has ties with the military, so they could potentially take some military with them. Now, this is important because there are 26 Republican governors on board with this strike force, and they're going against the federal government here and doing this anyway. So if we see an event like a national divorce, if you will, and the reason I linked this down below, it lists the 26 states that are there and the governors that have signed up for this. So conceivably, these would be the governors and states that would most likely leave with the individual that says, "Hey, we're out of here." So, it could be nothing but a strike force being put together, but this could also be an actual list of states that are ready to say adios and go their separate ways. And most of them are from the South, from what I could tell. I skimmed it before I posted it and everything. But yeah, the Army, and that's somebody's bringing up the Army. It's crazy to think that the military would ever splinter, right? But you have military bases all over the United States. So it does bring up the issue, if certain states leave, what do the military bases do? Do they leave with the states? Are they loyal to the people that leave, or are they loyal to the commander in chief? And I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of them are going to remain loyal with the commander in chief, but there are a lot of generals that are sitting around. The entire military is not woke. So the leadership, I think, is woke. The people that are meeting with Biden, they are woke, the Millies and so on down the line. But there are a lot of commanders that have clout that are not woke and that are probably sitting back waiting for somebody to have the stones to make that move. And those people that are in charge, they have the respect of the people underneath them, and they're more likely to go as well. So it would be this whole vacuum mess, but you would have to have it in order to have any chance of seeing a national divorce where conservatives survive. So there we go. Just wanted to mention that. Joe lost in court a couple of days ago. I know y'all know this by now, but he lost in court. No more face diapers on airplanes. That was announced. A lot of flights announced it mid-flight, and the stewardesses, they just took their masks straight off. People were cheering. There was video trotting around on social media where people were cheering, and they were just done with it. And I'm bringing the FJB. There you go. I'm bringing this up because um, I've never seen so much whining and crying in all of my life, literally crying. On Twitter, there were videos of people crying, saying, "What are we going to do? Why are we taking these things off? We're killing ourselves." And I got to ask the question this morning, isn't it time to take these things off? I understand some people, they have health issues and they have to wear this stuff. That's fine. I totally get it. But society as a whole cannot continue to mask forever, can they? At some point, you got to rip it off. And they lost in court, and the CDC, folks, is now going to legally appeal this decision. The CDC is acting totally political at this point because they have even admitted, in several interviews, they don't work, or we really don't know if they work, or we don't know what they're actually doing, but it's a good idea to wear them anyway. It's 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 gotten cult like with some of these people. They just, I mean, what is the plan here? Are they gonna wear these things? Yeah, Stockholm Syndrome. But in their minds, even with Stockholm Syndrome, what is their end game? Do they wear these things forever? For those that don't know, Stockholm Syndrome, basically, in a roundabout way, it's where you've been taken captive or you've been oppressed for so long that you actually sympathize with the people that are oppressing you. These people have taken logic long ago, thrown it to the wayside, and grabbed hold of Dr. F himself, and they're just following him off the cliff. He's their hero now. They don't need anybody else. It's Dr. F and the CDC, and this is all they're thinking about. And people were literally on there crying, saying, "We just booked a flight. What are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to take our kids on this flight now if nobody's wearing the things?" And I'm thinking, realistically, you can still wear them if you want to. If they work, you should be good. But, I don't know. They don't want it's not just personal responsibility for them. No, they want you and everybody else to wear them, apparently until the end of time. So, uh, if you haven't seen those videos, pull them up. They are kind of funny and sad at the same time. Uh, fear. That's exactly what it is, Big Red. It is fear. The Stockholm Syndrome, getting back to it, these people have been scared into submission, and it's not just submission at this point. They're on board now. They've got Fauci's back. They'll go to war for this man at this point. It's actually sad. Um, well, Paul Jones says the world's upside down to a degree. It is. I understand what you're saying, Paul, but it gave me hope because when they announced this, I saw the video where they announced it, I think on a Delta flight. Oh, the irony. And everybody took their masks off. And I mean, I'm talking 95% of the plane. And everybody was yelling and everybody was cheering. And a guy actually got up in the middle of the aisle and he was dancing. People were done. I don't think most of the world has lost its mind. I think a very small minority of the world has been controlling everybody else through fear. And now that is, the wheels are kind of falling off of that narrative, we're starting to see that most people think like we do. But I don't know. The rest of them are lost or something. I don't know what's going on there. The poll this morning, speaking of airlines, are you ready for the summer airline chaos? Man, we got almost 1,000 votes on that. We do have 1,001 actually. 41% of you are there with me. I plan on driving. I don't fly. So I wasn't going to be flying anyway, but people are going to be filling up the old gas tank and going. 29% say vacations are for the weak. You're weak if you need a vacation, or, you're the working class and you can't afford it. 19% say what airline chaos. So the wait time and the layovers and the delays with all of the major airlines now here in the United States have basically tripled in the last few months. Bill O'Reilly, for those that remember Bill O'Reilly, there's a video floating around of him this morning cursing back and forth with an employee. I think it was JetBlue, because he was delayed and they said, basically, son, we don't know when you're getting on a plane. And he was upset he had somewhere to be. People are getting very irate about this because they don't want to be inconvenienced and they don't have the staffing. At first it was, hey, the weather's bad, there's going to be delays everywhere. Now they're just saying we don't have the staffing. We just don't have enough. Pilots are complaining about fatigue, so I don't know that I would get on a plane anyway. 12% of you say, yeah, you're totally ready for the summer chaos with the airlines. Somebody said take a train. There you go. Um, I hate flying too, Tammy. I don't like it. There's just something about it. Yeah, Double D, Homestead, Bill O'Reilly flying JetBlue, bottom of the bucket airline. I don't know. It could have been one of those deals where he couldn't get a flight somewhere else. I don't really know. Muzzle flash, it's funny you bring this up. Somebody else brought this up right before we went live. I remember doing a video, it was probably 9 months ago or so. It could have been longer than that. Said, are they really crazy enough to let us have 50,000 subscribers in this community? Never thinking that we were actually going to get close to 50,000. And here we are, we're close to 50,000, which is fantastic. Totally blessed. That is not lost on me. I'll just say that. So this is linked down below as well. The Secret Service, this is for the crypto folks. They have seized now $102 million in cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency, the whole idea behind cryptocurrency is it's supposed to be untouchable, untraceable. That was my understanding of it. But the Secret Service just got $102 million. Now they say that it has to do with reducing fraud and criminal activity and stuff like this. But they admit in the article that is linked down below. I forget where the article is from, but it was NBC News or something. It was mainstream media. The Secret Service admits they're following people's digital wallets and that they are kind of following the transaction emails back and forth. So they're tracking it outside the boundaries, I guess, of cryptocurrency. But yeah, they know what's going on and they know roundabout how much money's being moved around and they're watching it like a hawk. So I'm curious, are you a crypto fan? Are you not a crypto fan? If so, what do you think about this? Tammy Duckworth, thank you very much. I just posted, I lost my Game Boy. Let me show y'all real quick. The screen died on me yesterday. This is my 1989 OG Game Boy. The screen finally went bad. I tried to solder it back. It's dead, son. I'm gonna have to give it a funeral later or something. Red Tyrant Hunter, I don't have any of the electro money. I did think that it was a good idea, but that was under the assumption that it was out of bounds. Um, it couldn't be touched. That's why I liked it, so the government couldn't get its hands on it. But now they're getting they're finding ways. Um, Kyle, John, if you can't hold it, I don't own it. I understand that. I became a kind of a fan of it during the trucker protest in Canada when they'd cut those people completely off. You know, PayPal shut them down, all of the banks shut them down, and they were getting funding via crypto. Um, so I was sort of a fan of it there, but I mean, I got to be honest, if the Secret Service can get a hold of it, I don't know about it at that point. The screen of death. Yes, it lived a long, healthy life. Oh, I heard taps earlier. You might hear it later as well. Uh, only true currency is gold, precious metals. Food, I think, will become a currency at some point, and you know, ways to purify water. Of course, precious metals, like you said, bullets. I'm just saying. Ripple, yeah, thank you very much. Bama Jen, every time I see Ripple, though, I think Sanford and Son. I ain't gonna lie. But Ripple is starting to be used for cross-border payments. You have to keep it on your own wallet, okay? I know that's picking up steam in many countries outside of the United States. Um, Part of the reason I think that we're seeing what we're seeing in Ukraine. Food will become the new gold. It almost takes gold, Wilson, to buy food right now. Um, and I know that there are a few hardcore fans of crypto here at the nation. And again, I understand it, but I do worry if they're getting their hands on it now, they're coming after it and they're tracking it, which I don't like. Tobacco, coffee, and wine. Yeah. Yeah, that stuff. They're limited on a lot of that stuff here now. So let me see here. Joseph Hefner sent that intel inboxed it to me, and I appreciate that, brother. Kyle Clay over on Facebook. I wrote this down. The other morning, we were talking about the challenge being finding a way to prep without spending a ton of money or even saving money this week. He's doing something that I need to do, and he is going through all of his ammo cans and reorganizing everything. And this is kind of a thinking outside the box type deal because technically he's prepping. Organization, I need to be better at it. My wife is the organized one, I'll admit it, but it is a heavy part of prepping. And he's handling his business over there. He's labeling everything. It looks all nice and neat. And I was jealous. I got to be honest, Kyle. Bobby C. Do the crypto seizures have to deal with the centralized wallets, or the decentralized wallets. I am not sure, to be honest. The intel is down below. I don't know the difference. Man, I'm not a crypto expert. I appreciate the question in the super chat, but I don't know the difference one or the other. But I was really drawn to the fact that they're watching the emails, okay, back and forth when those transactions happen. So they're watching like a hawk on the digital stuff now. There may be there may be clever ways around it that I'm just not aware of because I'm not a huge crypto guy. Um, but I don't know for sure, to be honest. Let's see. Tilton Re the name. If you're talking about cold wallet, it takes crypto offline. Yeah, see, there are experts in here, um, Bobby. There are experts in here on the crypto. I know that selling Prepper Dark Secrets is one of them as well. He knows all kind of workarounds and stuff. But the fact that they are now watching transactions based on emails between users, a huge red flag for me. And finally, I want to mention this because if this don't say invasion, I don't know what does. The Wall Street Journal this morning put out an article. They're now saying, admitting in the wide open, 1 million illegals so far this year alone have been caught trying to sneak into our country. 1 million at the southern border. These are folks that they have apprehended. Now, whether they cut them loose, they flew them to New Jersey, who knows? But that's a lot of people. And I would gamble to say that at least 1 million have gotten into the country without being apprehended. I think that's kind of a lowball number, to be honest. To think that they are apprehending 50% of the people that are sneaking into this country, that number's probably way too high. It's probably a lot less than 50%. So, yeah, that Tina, I agree. That number is very low. That's just the people they know about that they've said, "Hey, you," and that person is stopped or whatever, and they went over and said, "We can't let you into the country without free healthcare. Here's a card. Now go and show up for court in 3 months," or whatever. Yeah, the numbers are probably all over the place, Bobo. 7 million. That's a lot of votes. Yeah, it is. OFC, you are right. How you doing this morning, brother? So I did the John math on it, and I commend Texas. Abbott and DeSantis is talking about doing it now. I commend them for busing these individuals to DC. Good job. But the average count on the buses when they get to DC is around 20 illegals getting off the buses. That's 50,000 bus trips just to process the people that we have caught. So the problem is huge. And again, as much as I commend them for sending the buses to DC, that's not the fix. We need something much stronger, much faster, much tougher in order to stop this problem before we're completely overrun. Some places in our southern Texas, Oklahoma, Arizona, all that through there, they're starting to be overrun now. It may be too late for that part of the country, but the rest of the country is gonna be overrun if we don't do something. I mean, this is a straight on invasion. You wanna talk about Russia and Ukraine, that's fine in mainstream media, but at the very least, this deserves equal coverage because it's an invasion straight away. Buildings aren't being blown up, they're just being totally overloaded with population, and as the OFC said, votes. They may be getting ready for the old midterms. Yeah, and the bitter critter, I'm not saying that he's not. I'm just saying I like the move that he made, whether it's political or whatever, with the buses. But at the end of the day, it's not going to be enough. There's no way that you're not going to be able to organize 50,000 buses back and forth. And even if you do, that's just, as you folks were saying, that's the tip of the iceberg. There are a lot more people coming in that we don't know about. 18,000 illegals a day. And truthfully, we don't even know if that's accurate. It could be more than that. I mean, the numbers that you're able to pull up online, there's spitball estimates, nobody knows because so many people come in, they get coyoted in, and where they go, who knows? They're able to get, benefits. I know that in a lot of places. Right now, they're not paying for groceries, they're getting free phones. It just it sucks, and that's not gonna change anytime soon. Only if we had a president who would build a wall. Yeah, and, Trump did do that, it took some time, but he was tough at the border, but even he should have been tougher, I think. In all fairness, he should have been a lot tougher than he was. But he had all kinds of fires going on at one time. You can't put all the fires out at once. Um, but yeah, that should be the immediate concern for any commander in chief. I don't Joe Biden is up here. The Easter Bunny was walking him around. Did y'all see that? The Easter Bunny was literally telling him where to go. This man, it's elder abuse at this point. Katie did not know that. The US pays for surgeries as soon as they get here. My sister houses them until they find their families. Her current placement just got free hip surgery. Well, that sucks because it ain't free. Somebody else is paying for it, but I understand what you're saying. Yeah, it makes a lot of us furious, Bama Jen. You know, it does. Yep, Philly Flash, you got it. But us veterans are getting stiffed. As we talked about the other morning, the veterans have to sit at the VA for eons waiting to see a doctor. And then when you see one, sometimes it just feels like they're processing you through and they're not actually, they're kicking the can down the road, as we said the other morning. But the illegals, they're taken care of. Um, they are. Oh, we get taxed, Jamie. U.S. citizens can't get nothing. We get taxed. We get taxed and told not to buy more than 2 days worth of groceries at a time because at that point you're hoarding. It is, but it's a replica. It's like an airsoft. I can't afford the real thing. The Muncie Prepper. I've heard this as well. I didn't think it would show up um in chat, but John, I heard Lucky Charms was giving people diarrhea and vomiting. Should we avoid prepping general meals? If you have a ton prepped already, I don't know that I would just throw it out and destroy it, but yeah, maybe pivot over to a different brand or something outside of General Mills, if you can conceivably do it. But I'm laughing because we see this as a headline story, Lucky Charms giving people diarrhea. Meanwhile, again, we have a full-on invasion at the southern border. Nobody's talking about it. They're talking about it, but it's being completely buried. Now that sucks. If that's true, I've not, I'm taking you at your word on this. Some states are using the VA for illegal health care. That would piss me off, because that's the one place where veterans can go and they're veterans and they've earned it. And if illegals are going there for health care, um, that's just messed up. Saltwater, I'm not sure. The blue wrenches here are awesome. They will normally flag a lot of bad language. Beyond that, a lot of stuff is out of our control, and YouTube flags it. the algorithm will flag a lot of stuff here too. And that's unfortunately that's out of our control. Cheerios are life. Let me contemplate that for a second. Really? Their life? Prep what you grow and prep what your family will eat. Yeah, Byron, that's a good comment. Roy, American people allow it all. We all should be at the border with the National Guard. That's a good comment. And here's the thing, and this kind of it's perplexing. Let me throw that word out there. How many Americans that I talk to that don't realize the government is just a collection of people and resources from the average Americans. Like they think I mean, seriously, AOC level stuff. They believe the government has its own money and they don't realize tax money funds this. And they don't realize government is just a collection of what we give them, you know. Yeah, it's unreal. The level of and I'm not trying to be mean, but the level of ignorance and the level of people just don't understand how our government works or should work. They a lot of people don't know it's a constitutional republic. You know, they'll scream democracy, it's a democracy. It's not even a democracy. It's supposed to be different. And but they'll line up, you know, to vote for whoever is promising free health care or student loan debt. I have student loan debt. You know, I would love for that student loan debt to go away, of course, but I'm a realist. I know that we can't afford to do that. Just because the squad's on TV and they're saying, "Hey, we need free, you know, we need to get rid of student loan debts." They're trying to buy votes. Now there we go. Patriotic nanny, coffee is life. Yes, it is. And this is not look, I ain't plugging Bones Coffee. I don't work for them. I got this because it has I don't know if y'all can see it or not, the Evil Dead Army of Darkness style theme on it. Yeah, no arguments here. Our veterans have earned their health care. You know, I think we need Medicaid in this country. Okay, I do. I'm a fan of Medicaid up to a degree, especially when it comes to kids, but I think that the veterans should get their health care before that. This is my opinion. Thank you very much, RG, for that comment. I appreciate it. Yeah, we discussed that the other morning, Kelly. I'd heard that, and then a couple of people said, "Yeah, it's happening." I think Paul Jones was one of them. I've heard that they're using veteran doctors for illegals too. Yeah, and they are understaffed as it is. You know, why would you go in and pull doctors out of the VA hospitals to take care of these people? You know, let the bleeding hearts out there that want these people to come into our country for whatever reason and overload the system because the Statue of Liberty or whatever, let them go and take care of these people. But that's not what is happening. Our veterans are getting shafted. Most everything most everything free is too expensive for me, Tammy Duckworth. Yeah, it's nothing's free. I mean, yeah, you can go out, you know, salvation's free, you can go out and catch a sunset, but I'm talking about consumables and healthcare and stuff, college, none of that stuff's free. Um, I knew what I was signing when I signed, you know, I couldn't afford to go to college and pay for it all up front. I knew what I was signing. I knew professors have to get paid. Administrators, they've got to get paid. So some people just live in a fantasy land where everything is free. Let's see here. Scrolling down. Good morning, Ink Scars. How are you doing, brother? Alicia, good morning. Thank you for that. From Georgia. Love the Prepper Nation. Well, I'll have to put a Georgia Bulldog tie down somewhere. We just wore one though, didn't we? I don't want to double dip on it. make the Alabama fans upset and the Florida fans upset. Gary, we have 2 months before the big limits come back. Are we talking about, like, groceries and things like this or, kind of beginning of the pandemic type stuff? Let the illegals live in their homes rent free. Yes, the problem there is many of those people that just want these folks to flood our country, we're already paying for them to live here. I ain't trying to be mean about it, but when you look at the tax situation that we have, you have a minority of hardworking people in this country paying everybody else's way. Um, and I mean, it's not sustainable. You can't continue to do it forever. Eventually, people run out of money. The bitter critter, yes. We just wanna be left alone. They keep on poking us. They poke us in the eye, they poke us in the hind end. That's funny. I told my husband last night we should buy a ship and become pirates. I don't know about pirates, but that's an excellent bug out plan. If you can afford a small ship, that is one way to kinda bug out and be mostly off the grid as long as you've got it set up and ready to go. The Archbishop of Missouri paid to take in 55,000 illegals. Y'all feel free to inbox me any of that intel. I haven't seen that stuff. That's ridiculous. Well, we pay for air. I mean, we're paying for like Nestle to bottle water and stuff. And, you're not allowed to catch rainwater, but they're catching it all day and they're putting it in bottles and selling it to people. That's it. I'm sending a sooner time. But y'all are feud. Don't you feud with Texas though? The Red River Shootout or something like that. Um, Gila River Indian Community, Arizona. Thank you very much. My dad lives in, I guess I'm pronouncing this right, Casa Grande, Arizona. And the one time I went to visit, I thought I was gonna stroke out. Like it is the driest heat. It's like being in 100 laundry mats and all the dryers are running. I couldn't live there. I don't know how people do it. I guess it's good for your breathing though. Sharon, I hope not. Does anybody know about this? Did I see 30% tax on freedom seeds? Are they dropping that kind of tax, folks, on ammunition? I hope not, because that's them straight up trying to price people out of buying it. Now, I would be okay with this prepper trucking, if we didn't have General Milley in charge. With 10% of Mexico's population crossing into the US monthly, why not take Mexico and make it a new US territory? Yes, and then move all of the liberals there. No, I'm kidding about that part, but, yeah, take it. You might as well, if you're gonna fund it anyway, if you're gonna put up with the crime and stuff, maybe we can get it under control, or at the very least, take it and then send Beetlejuice down there to warlord over it. Yes, it's true. 30% though. Razorbacks. Ugh. They used to have some good running backs though. Back when I It's been so long since I watched football, but, they used to put out I don't even remember their names now. They had a Heisman running back or something like that. They had 2 of them in the backfield. It's been a long time. Jennifer Cruz, what are you doing? Don't do super chats. Just put it in all caps. This is just because, John. Keep moving forward and maintain your joy. Ma'am, at some point, I promise, gonna have you over on Saturday night to do a live stream together. I'm going so I guess I need to mention this. Thank you for that. I need to mention this. This Saturday, we're gonna be talking about water. For the next few weeks, I'm gonna try and do basic stuff like focus on water. What else would you guys like to focus on? I'm trying to put together a more updated basics playlist, so I can drop that on the channel for the newbies and stuff like that. As long as it's basic stuff, we'll focus on one thing every week. But yeah, at some point, I'm going to have you over here and you're going to see what it's like behind the scenes. You've done a lot of live streams, so your live streams are awesome. I don't get a chance to catch a lot of people live anymore. I have to go in, I have to binge watch and catch up. I was watching Magic Prepper a couple of days ago, but I was lurking over there, which is sad because I think I'm a moderator over at Magic's, but I was lurking, yeah. But I do go back and catch up. Perimeter security, that would be a good one. Um, yeah, like the bunkering in, the bugging out. Some of the stuff over there is kind of new on the basics playlist, but I need to update a lot of it. Hardtack video. There's one. It's several months old, but there's one over there. We may update that. Electrical generators and things. Okay. Rain barrels have doubled in price on Amazon. Um, wow. I have a couple of the rain barrels. I mean, they're not huge. I think they're 55s. They were either 99 or $109 a pop for each one when we picked them up, but we've had them a while. Did you see the news? Fertilizer and grain not allowed to transport by trains now. I did not. That's the first I've heard of that. Brandy, that's a good way of putting it. Our country is in a very, very slow death spiral. I'm curious, folks. Do y'all think we can recover from the death spiral? Do you think if we got a legitimate president in there, 2024, do you think if that legitimate president was not compromised in any way and they were totally America first, let's say one of the truck drivers here in chat who's just pissed, or farmers here in the chat and they want to go in and they want to make actual change, do you think they could correct the course of this country, or are we totally doomed? Okay, we will do that, KWG. Um, how's Armory? You can send it to me. You can email it to me. I'd be glad to watch it. It may be a day or so before I can get to it. Yeah, get 5-gallon buckets. I had this question. I haven't answered the email yet, actually. They were asking the difference between food grade and non-food grade. To my understanding on that, they're cheap. Everybody should be stacking 5-gallon buckets. But to my understanding, it's the plastics that it's made out of. Some of the plastics, like the really cheap stuff, may leach out into the food. Now, if you're putting it in Mylar first, that may not be an issue. Um, and a lot of people will use non-food grade buckets, but I try and get food grade buckets. Um, it- they're round about the same price. And some people will actually go to like bakeries and stuff and get the buckets as well. Does your state own the water? Tennessee does, and they can actually come get any that is stored. I don't know. I do not know what the laws are here, but I know they had better not come and try and take anything, including water that I have stored up. No, we are too divided. That was going to be my next question, John. Only by secession. So I was going to ask, if not, will a national divorce take care of it? Trump could. Well, that's interesting. I think the only way Trump would be able to do that is if we split, because half the country, at the very least, they're not getting behind President Trump. Fishstick says, nope, it's too late. Okay, that's a good separate opinion there. Buckeye Patriot says, yes, with God and good people, we can save America. We're straight far away from the biblical stuff here in this country. Laura says, I'm afraid it will be too late by 2024. Dynamite, same thing. I honestly believe we're done. Done. Hopefully, y'all are saying we're done as a United States of America. Now, could we make it if we split? Potentially, I think we could. If we had good leadership. They are the problem. They're one of the major problems. Red Tyrant Hunter says, unfortunately, no, the swamp is too deep. No recovery this time, not at least for 3 decades and some toe to toe. I don't remember the lady's name. I'm not trying to insult her personally. Yeah, is it Dianne Feinstein that's in Congress? I just saw recently where congressmen and women are approaching her and they're trying to talk legislation and they have to keep repeating themselves because medically they're saying she's not there anymore. And I don't know. We need term limits, but do we need age limits in Congress? Because I think we have 10 people right now that are around 88 to 90 years old making legislation for this country. And they've been there since they were, what, 12? I don't know. Charla, going to send you a Cornhusker tie. You know what I think? Thank you very much for that. You know what I think about when I see Cornhuskers? The first thing that comes to my mind is Larry the Cable Guy. I think he is a Nebraska fan, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know why. He just comes to my mind first. It looks like beautiful country in Nebraska. I've never been. Everything I've seen looks beautiful and desolate, like not very populated at all. Um, so thank you for that. Yes, everybody's saying yes. We need age limits, and again, I don't mean that in a negative way. But if people can't function on a basic level, because they're of an age where they're stumbling around and you have to repeat things, and y- y- somebody said they had to reintroduce themselves 4 times to Dianne Feinstein because she kept forgetting who they were in the same conversation. And I'm like, this lady, she does not need to be in charge of making law here in the United States. Everybody's saying yes, age limits. Yes, yes. Is that the I got you, Alexander. I know what song you're talking about. Is that like the Beaverine anthem right now? If and when a bloody national divorce were to come, is that we're gonna have Hulk Hogan's 1980s theme playing the real American on the front lines, people down in a trench? We do. We need that, Adam. But as somebody was saying, the swamp is so deep and so compromised, they could probably just fake the test. I in my opinion, there's no way Joe's passing one of these. But they've had doctors sign off and say, "Oh yeah, he's fine. He's good to go." And then the Easter bunny's walking him around because he doesn't even know where he's at. He's out looking for the eggs, and there are no eggs. Kevin, uh, I wouldn't be opposed to that. What do y'all think about that? If a president's approval rating drops below 35%, should they kind of at that point be handcuffed and not be able to do anything until they get the people behind him again? I've never thought of that before. It's interesting. All day, every day, Mitchell. Minimum age 35 and maximum age 60. I would sign off on that in a heartbeat. And must be born here in the United States of America. If you, if you can't pass a driver's test, you're out. There's some bad drivers here where I'm at. So I'm just putting it out there. I don't know how some of these people pass their test now. Warrior for Christ, what's up, brother? I know we're going a little over this morning. I hated missing yesterday, and honestly, I know some people like the shorter videos, but that's why we cover the most important stuff up front. I just like hanging out. Oh, Big Red, we've almost hit 1,000 thumbs up. I think we've only done that once or twice before. That's pretty awesome. Thank you. It's so obvious. It's so obvious, Bama Jen. Um, having seen a couple of family members that deal with this, and they're not dealing with it as bad as he is, and they're in nursing homes right now. It, it, the way he clenches his fist sometimes, the way he trips up on his wording and stuff, he's not all there. Um, and he's the most powerful person in the world, they say. Did we hit 1,000? Wow, I appreciate that, y'all, very much. Maybe YouTube takes us off the shunned list at 1,000. Who knows? Yeah, some people like him and some don't, Pat. And the reasoning is, for me at least, put the most important stuff up front, the most important topics up front, keep it within 15 minutes. For the people that like short videos, they can watch the 15 minutes and click off. And for the people that like to hang out, we just hang out. Just chill. Dave. Fighting words. Okay, everyone, hit that thumbs up, folks, or you have to hold Joe Biden's hands to walk around. You have to change Joe Biden's diaper if you've not hit thumbs up. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules around here. I'm trying to remember, Bitter Critter. I'm trying to remember here. Are you the one that sent Arkansas Living? Somebody said Arkansas Living was being kind of shadow banned or something like that. I'm thinking that's the email you sent. That could have been somebody else. I get a lot of them every day. But if that's the one, I had to actually tell somebody, no, he hasn't been banned here. Nobody. I'm a huge fan. I know the moderators are of Arkansas Living. But if he's dealing with censorship on his channel, I don't know what's going on there. What is that movie poster behind you? Saints and Soldiers. The first Saints and Soldiers here. It's a I'm into World War II. It's a Christian World War II movie. I think there are 3 of them. They're all pretty decent. Wow. Somebody says you're an Alabama fan if you don't hit that thumbs up. I I thought they said you were gonna have to move to Alabama if you don't hit thumbs up. I'm like, "Man, y'all trying to get somebody upset up in here." Yeah, we love Arkansas Living. He's one of the creators. Imma tell y'all straight up. I know people in my area like Arkansas Living. I'm not in Arkansas, but he's the kinda guy that I could hang out with. You know what I mean? I do hang out with people like him. Now they have potty mouths and he doesn't really, but he's a good guy. I like him. Harold, John, have you thought about starting our own website outside of YouTube, man? I'm going to be honest with you, and I always say this, and it's the truth, man. This is our community, so start anything you want to. Um, I don't number 1, I don't have a lot of time to start another website. Number 2, I'm not very tech savvy, so it would be like I it would look like a Flash website or something from the 1990s, is what I'm trying to say. So, yeah, start anything you want to. I hope you plug it or whatever. We got somebody now that is working on, PVC patches. They went to a company that makes PVC patches. They're trying to get beaverine patches made. I think the company is gonna do it, and I said, "Yeah, I'll drop the link. I'll buy some myself. I'm not gonna make a dime off of it, but, as long as they're decent patches and they're decently priced, yeah, I'll throw it out there." Does anyone watch Appalachia Homestead on YouTube? I just started. Somebody sent a link over a couple of days ago. Yeah, she is hilarious and off the rails now in regards to prepping. Yeah, drop your favorite channels down here other than Prepper Nation. I guarantee you there's some that I haven't seen before. Uh, did you have a large Lady Luck poster behind you? Man, it was from the Fallout video game. It kind of looked like the Lady Luck poster. And somebody complained, they said it wasn't appropriate from a video game or something. So there've been several back here. I think we had at one time we had a G.I. Joe Cobra poster. I don't know. There's been a bunch of a Fury poster, True Grit with John Wayne. A few of those I sent them off as prizes when we hit certain amount of subscribers. Everybody's heard of Alaska Prepper. Come on. Rudy's awesome. Rudy is awesome. Yeah, there are other channels on YouTube. I'm a fan of several myself. Thank you, Big T. I mean, I'm like y'all. I started and I still do watch a lot of other creators. This I know a prepper who's been prepping a lot longer than me. His name's Marcus. I was that zombie, and I went to him and said, "Hey, man, you were right. I was wrong." He bailed me out, and then I started reading books on prepping. I started buying the prepping magazines. So as a newbie, I'm flipping through the magazines and everything. I got to have all the gear that's in here. You know what I mean? It's all expensive. Don't care. I'm going to buy it anyway. Never use most of it. And then I started, I found prepping on YouTube and I started watching a lot of the channels here. Um, I've heard of that one. I don't know that I've ever seen it. Yeah, Jennifer Cruz. She's fantastic. Everybody knows that. Autumn's Backyard Garden. Bear, I do like Bear. Some people say he's kind of abrasive and in your face, but I kind of like it that way. I don't present that way. We have totally different presentation styles, but I do respect him. I think he's a heck of a prepper. Yeah. Southern Prepper 1. There you go. Now see, I haven't seen either one of those. So I'm gonna go back through and I'm gonna write those down and check them out. Thank you for that. I'm gonna close with this. I'm gonna throw him under the bus a little bit. So first of all, let me just say Rudy at the Alaska Prepper, he's awesome. He is the guy that you see on camera. He was the first creator, like I think we hit 20,000 subscribers here or something, 15 or 20,000 here at Prepper Nation. My phone rings. And at first, I don't even know who it is. Don't know how he got the number or anything. And it was Rudy at the Alaska Prepper. And I remember being outside near my car and I almost fell up against the car. I'm like, are you kidding me? Super, super nice guy off camera, super humble. Do not start talking about crypto around this guy. Hopefully, if he sees this, he's laughing. If you start talking about crypto around Rudy, it's over. And he'll even tell you, he'll spend 30 minutes, 45 minutes. He is going to tell you about cryptocurrency because he has had so much success with cryptocurrency, and the man is so smart when it comes to cryptocurrency, but he is just a super duper guy outside of YouTube. He's very, very down to earth, and look, it's not an act for the camera. He really is a cool, cool guy, and, I don't know if he's stalking me, but we email back and forth sometimes, and I can tell you as a creator, he has helped me out a tremendous amount because I've had questions, personal questions, and also questions like with equipment and stuff. And I've emailed him, and he's pretty quick to answer. He's got all the answers. He goes out of his way to help me. He always has. And he texts. He was one of the few people that text me when I had the COVID Delta to check on me. So he's just an awesome guy. I want to say that before we go. I appreciate y'all being here this morning. I'm going to try and be live again tomorrow morning. Let me know in the comments what you want to talk about. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody said. And until tomorrow morning, y'all take care and God bless.